Hi Flosstube, my name is Haley, also known as Peregrine Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram. Welcome to my channel, which is mostly about cross stitch. This is my second Flosstube. I would like to thank everyone who watched my first video and subscribed to my channel. I had 0 subscribers when I uploaded my first video, and I definitely have more than that now. I don't know how many. I don't know how to figure that out, but I will. I definitely have more than 15, which is when I said I would be giving away my cat, Katniss. So if there are any takers, please do let me know. She is still very annoying, but she's also very cute and fluffy. So I love her. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give her away. But maybe you'll meet her at some point. She was just up on the table, but she didn't stick around. I would like to thank particularly everyone from StitchCon Weekend B who subscribed. I was very excited to get accepted to attend. It'll be the first in-person stitching event I've ever been to, so I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for subscribing, and I'm looking forward to meeting many of you in person. And please do let me know if you have your own YouTube channels. I would love to check them out and get to know you before we meet. So I am trying to up my YouTube game a little bit, and I figured what I would do is try one new thing or technique for each video. So today I have purchased a ring light, which hopefully will give us some better lighting to show you my projects, and a remote starter so that I don't have to reach in front of the camera to turn it on and off. So I'm pretty excited about that. So why don't I get right into the stitching? I have a few things to show you today. I wanted to start out with something that I meant to show you last time, but forgot. And it is actually the only fully finished object that I currently have. Most of the fully finished objects that I have done over the course of my 25 years of stitching, I have given away as gifts. I just haven't kept them for myself. And that has changed. I'm now keeping a lot more of them, but this is the only one that I have actually fully finished. So it's a fairly old pattern. I don't think that you can get it anymore, but it's Rainbow Row by Barbara and Cheryl Present. I probably have had this chart for at least 15 years, and I can't remember where I got it. Apparently it was $10. So I don't think I ordered it online. This was before online shopping existed, I think. Anyhow, I actually stitched this pattern twice. Well, I got almost done the first time, and I ended up just not liking it for a lot of reasons. So I restarted it in 2020 and finished it and got it framed. So here it is. It's really big. So I will try to show you. And you're also going to see the ring light now, but so this was really fun to stitch. There you go. You can see the whole thing. Sorry about the reflection. There we go. Each house was its own little project, and so I actually had a lot of fun stitching it. It took forever. I don't know, probably about a year. But I have the perfect place for it right over my mantle. So this is from Rainbow Row is an actual place. It's in Charleston, South Carolina. And it's a famous street with some historic houses on it. And it really reminds me a lot of the neighborhood that I live in. I'm in upstate New York, in a small village, and I live in the historic district. And a lot of the houses look like that. They're not right close to each other like that. We have yards in between. But it's a similar time and style. A lot of Federal Georgian style, some Victorians, some Italianates, that sort of thing. And they're all painted different colors. So just across the street, I have a yellow house, orange, blue, purple, green, white. And I just actually love this neighborhood. It is the best neighborhood in the world, in my opinion. Everyone knows each other. Everyone looks out for each other. And it's a very sociable neighborhood. We all have front porches. And so during the summers, along about 5 o'clock in the evening, everyone will go out onto their front porch with a glass of wine, some snacks, and we'll look up and down the street to see who's out. And, you know, everyone will get together on one porch or another. I have a big front porch, wraparound porch. So a lot of folks will come over to my place and we just sit and chat, and others will be walking their dogs or out for a stroll, and they'll stop by and say hello. So it's so nice. I think it's very rare these days to have neighborhoods like that. And, you know, it just really makes you feel like you're not so alone. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago when we had the very bad flooding, all of the neighbors, you know, came around to check in on us and make sure we were okay. And so I love my neighborhood. I would not move anywhere else for the world. So in terms of what I have done over the last few weeks, I have a few finishes to share with you, and I'll show you a couple of other things that I am working on. So my two finishes are actually travel stitching, and they're two small projects. I don't typically do smalls or what I would call cutesy things. I tend to go for bigger projects, but I wanted a couple of projects that I could take on the plane that wouldn't be too bulky and that I wouldn't be too disappointed if something happened to them, because you just never know when you're traveling like that. So the first one is Plum Street Samplers Sheep Heap, which I wanted to do for a while because I love sheep. And then the second one is Next Door by Heartstring Samplery. And so the reason I'm showing both of these to you at the same time is because I put them on the same piece of fabric. Okay, so it's 2 for 1. So this is Sheep Heap, and this was great to stitch. It was so much fun. I think if I were to do it again, so I use the called for DMC floss, which I think is beautiful. But if I were to do it again, I would at least get the overdyed floss for the grass here and the gray sheep, because I think it would just look better for those big blocks to have a little bit more variegation. And I am going to stitch it again because I stitched this for a gift for someone else, but I love it so much I want to keep it. So I think I will just stitch it again. But this one is going to turn into a pillow and be on its way as a gift. I've never made a pillow. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about that. I would much rather pay someone to do it for me. So if you know of anyone that you could suggest, please do let me know. I would be a very good customer because I would much rather spend my time stitching than finishing. So this is the first one. I finished it on the way there. And this is the one I did on the way back, the Heartstring Samplery. Again, this is another gift. And I thought this was just a really cool chart with these crazy colors and Dr. Seuss-esque flowers and birds. And I just love the sentiment. I'm making this for a friend who lives in Oregon, which is where I grew up. I've lived now back east for, I don't know, many decades. Let's not say how many, several decades. But I have a dear friend who lives there, and I wanted to send this to her as a gift. So yeah, both of these are done on the same piece of fabric. As you can see, it is a Witchelt 28 count natural linen. So I'm really pleased with how those turned out. I had one other small that I took with me. I started it. I didn't really get that much done on it. But it is this one, Winter Hot Cocoa by Madame Chantilly. And again, I don't typically do patterns like this, but look how cute that is. There's all these woodland creatures with little cups of hot cocoa. They're just adorable. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I had to stitch them. So I did a little bit of it. I got the owl done and a start on the raccoon and the squirrel. So that's going to be really cute, and I think it'll be nice to have for sort of winter decorating. So, oh, let me tell you a little bit about travel, because, I mean, maybe you could tell by my handle, Peregrine Stitcher, traveling is, I want to say, is it my most favorite thing or my next favorite thing after stitching? Ideally, if I could travel and stitch, I'm the most happy person in the world. But I tend to, be a homebody and stay at home and stitch. But then when I go, I try to go big. And so I do travel a lot. Not so much, of course, over the past couple of years. But I did want to get away this past week. So my family does not get together for the holidays. And they actually avoid me every other day of the year as well. So it's not good for my mental health to be stuck at home on Thanksgiving Day with reminders of everyone else being with their families when that's just not a possibility for me. And when I say my family, I mean my parents and my siblings. My parents live in the same town as me. My sister's not too far away. But I haven't seen them in probably 5 or 6 years. And that's another story for another day. It is what it is. But like I said, I try to take a trip during the holidays so that I can, be distracted and doing something fun. Sometimes I have the kids, sometimes I don't. I am divorced, so sometimes they're with their dad. But they were both with me this year, and so I was thinking about where to go. I didn't want to travel internationally with everything that is going on. I have taken a couple of international trips during COVID, but I wouldn't go with my kids because there's always that chance that if you test positive before you get back, you're stuck overseas, and I didn't want to take that chance with both of the kids with me. So I wanted to go somewhere warm and sunny, that there would be fun things to do, but not Florida. So the place I landed on was actually Las Vegas, which is probably not the first place that comes to mind when you think family vacation, but it actually worked out really well. I mean, Las Vegas is crazy. It's really insane. I don't gamble. I'm not really into that scene. But there's so many great restaurants and shopping. You don't have to have a car. It's warm and dry and sunny. It's cheap. The hotels are really cheap. And there are actually a lot of things to do. So one night we went to a show. We went to see Cirque du Soleil, Mystère, which I'd never been to Cirque du Soleil before, and it was okay. It was incredible. The acrobatics were absolutely phenomenal and stunning. I could not believe what they were able to do. But the show itself was really trippy. I mean, this thing was so bizarre. I've never taken drugs, but I imagine that if one were to take something like LSD, that's what it would be like, because it was just very strange. Very, very strange. But it was entertaining and it was fun. We had a good time. And then one day we went to the Grand Canyon, which was beautiful. We were able to take a helicopter tour, which just gave stunning views, and land on the floor of the Grand Canyon, where it was just so quiet and peaceful and beautiful. It was really an incredible experience, and the kids really enjoyed that. And then the third day, we went to the immersive Van Gogh exhibit, which I had heard about, and I had been planning to go to New York City to see it. But when I found out it was in Las Vegas, we got tickets for while we were there. And that was also just really incredible. I highly recommend it if you have a chance to go. It's a great experience. One of my favorite artists, and a really just different way to experience his works of art. And so that was it. We had some great food, went out to some great restaurants, and just people watched, and we had a good time. So I had a lot of travel stitching. That was that week. Prior to that, I had a couple of other things I was working on. Actually, this is another finish. So this is Modern Folk Embroidery, Ruskin's Penguins. One can't be angry when one looks at a penguin. So I wanted to actually use the project bag that this was in from Evertotes, which is a really cute one with scissors. I wanted to use this for another project, so I decided to go ahead and finish this. And it's cute. The only thing I would change is I wish that I had used a darker blue fabric, because it is kind of hard to see all the snowflakes. I mean, it's better in person, but you can see here it's really hard. If I had chosen a darker blue, they would stand out a bit more. This is a Zweigart Lugana 28 count in ice blue. So I still like it. I think it turned out well. Although I have to say that I disprove the sentiment, because I was getting quite angry when I was stitching all of these little one-stitch snowflakes, and I was looking at the penguins the whole time. So yeah, I'm glad that part is done. So I thought I would take this. I might put this up in my office. I have a fairly stressful job. I work in HR, which you can imagine, especially over the past couple of years. You know, there's been a lot of stress and a lot of difficult things to manage, a lot of unhappy people. So I thought maybe I'll put that up in my office and hope that it will help dispel some anger in some places. Okay, so the reason I wanted to get this bag empty is so I could use it for another project for Black Sampler November. And that is in fact another Modern Folk Embroidery chart, because I love them so much. And this is I Am No Bird. And so I got a good start on this. I actually did the entire border. Yay. And it met up, which was great. It's a great border. I really love actually these things in the corner. They're kind of like little lobsters. But now it's all ready to go for the stuff in the middle. So that'll be fun. Here it is again. So the words will be a piece of cake. That house is going to take a minute to do, but I think it'll turn out really well. And again, this is for my library / craft room, which I will have at some point when there are some rooms freed up in my house after teenagers go off on their own and fly the nest. So that was really fun. And then the only other project I've been working on, I took a break from Princess Eliana, which I showed you last time. And so I've been working on Anne Thomas 1854. I got a little bit done, not a lot. Still have it on the Q-snap, sorry. I think last time I had done up through these red flowers here and these. So I finished this branch, which goes out here, and did, you know, all the rest of this. I was hoping to get the rest of this wreath done, but still working on it. And so this was a nice change of pace after those smalls to get back to the more complex projects with a little more work to them. So I'll probably work on that a little bit more. I have 2 projects that I have kitted up that I'm planning on doing that I wanted to show you. So I am planning on doing Elizabeth Eyles starting January 1 for Laura, the cereal starter. So I got that all kitted up. I got the Leo and Roxy flosses, but I also got from Almond M&M's the skin collection, so that all these little cherubs don't have to be so chalky white. It can be a little bit more diverse in terms of representation. So I'm really excited to use these. I think that's going to be great. And for the fabric, I didn't even open it yet, but I got a 38 count brewer's malt linen, which someone suggested it might have been Trixie Tricycle. I really appreciate when people give suggestions for fabrics to use, because I don't have an L&S anywhere near me, and so it's just hard sometimes to know what projects are going to look like. So I really appreciate recommendations for what kinds of fabrics to use for different projects. And then the other one, I think this is also a January 1 start for a Sal, is Rose Ada Featherstone. And so I got that kit all kitted up from Hobby House. It'll works. So I'm looking forward to starting those, but that's not until January 1. So I'll have to probably look in my whips and stash to see what else I'll be working on between now and then. I'm gonna work on Ann Thomas for a little bit now, and maybe I'll pull out Princess Eliana again in December, and try to make some progress on some of my bigger projects. So I think that is about all I wanted to share today. I hope everyone had a great week and some time off to just relax and spend time with family and friends. And now here we go into December, and it's the last month of 2021. And, you know, fingers crossed that 2022 will be a little bit better for everyone. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to your comments, and I'll try to be back again in a couple of weeks. Keep calm and carry on. Take care. Bye.